Yo, what's up, guys? Holding Eyes with you here, bringing you Fairytail, the final season anime review. This is episode 13/209, 291, depending on where you were at. But this episode was real good. It lived up to its hypeness and its basically anticipation. It starts off very cutesy with Maris being like a little fairy, and she's flying around the town, watching everybody, watching them, build up their own spirits and gather together before this time of war, is upon them. And we only see a couple of people she visits. We see the main group, Natsu, Lucy, and Happy. We see them chit-chatting and talking in the house. Then we go to Gray and Julia, and we have their little love scene where Gray's like, "You always been by my side. After this war's over, I give you my answer." And she got super happy. Then we went to Ezra and Wendy, which this was changed. In this episode, they were in a bathhouse bathing, and in the manga, they were actually in the female dorms. Really not that much difference, but dialogue was the same. And it was basically Ezra, saying, "I have to protect Wendy and Charlotte since I brought them into the guild." And then when she's thinking that Wendy actually runs up behind her and hugs her, and she's like, "I have to protect you for protecting me." And then Ezra turns around and hugs her, and we have this little cute moment with them hugging each other, and Wendy's embarrassed because her jugs is right in her face because she's short and she's tall. So, and you know how Wendy feels about herself about that. And you have little cutesy hearts everywhere around the screen where this is going on. Very funny. And then we get to see a couple of other members, like Elfman and his sisters. We get to see the Legion, Lux's bodyguards, the Thunder Legion, get to see them. We see Lux's in the guild hall chilling. I believe home, one of the two, but then she goes back to the guild hall and she tells the Master Makaraj, "I'm happy that everyone is in high spirits and they're not even worried about the enemy." And he ends up telling her, Makaraj, it's not that they're not happy or scared, it's that they're keeping themselves in high spirits so they won't show their anxiety and their panic and their worry. Because when a parent get worried, their children feel that and they get worried. And then she starts to catch on what was going on. And then instant Makaraj said this, "A windstorm's by." And then Wally looks at his screen and it shows nothing. And the next time he looks again, it shows a whole bunch of ships, aircrafts just, passing by. Passing in. And it's 50 of them. And Ajo, one of the Spreaking 12, the one with the sand manipulation, magic, he's the one coming in with that group. And they basically shot a whole bunch of missiles at Fairytail Guild. But thanks to Fred putting up a magical enhancement barrier, it protected everybody. But it was stated he won't be able to keep it up for long. So Mavis decides to use two groups to shut them down. She used the Orca group, or Aspire group I should say, and the Flying Dragon group. Now the Flying Dragon group, that one's easy to figure out who those people are. It's basically the three Dragon Slayers, Wendy, Gajo, and Natsu, with their cats making them fly around, destroying some ships. Now the second group, the Osprey, or Oscar, or however you pronounce that one, that group is unique because it's three people as well, and these three people are family, and we've seen them since the beginning of Fairytail. And it's Bisca and her husband and their child together in the far distance, outside of the town. And it's funny because if you remember the very first arc, not the very first arc, but one of the beginning arcs in Fairytail, when they had to fight Master Josie in the Phantom group, when Gajo was part of it, before he, transferred over, he had the Jupiter. That was his strongest weapon. Well, we find out what happened to the Jupiter. Bisca and her husband actually took it. So now they have the Jupiter in their command. And it takes 15 minutes to charge it up, so while they're charging it up, you have Natsu's group just attacking Ajo's aircraft and destroying it. Then they get on his aircraft, his personal aircraft, the one leading all the other aircrafts, to actually, fight him. Problem is, they didn't even think about this, and the master, she said, "I'm sorry, I forgot about this myself," that Dragon Slayers can't be on vehicles. So the instant they landed to fight Ajo, they all just fainted at a sickness. And Ajo told his people to leave. He got this. and he picked up Natsu, and he was like bragging to Natsu, "Oh, you was talking all this smack about beating us, blah blah blah. You and your pathetic Gil. Now you're about to lose here." And before he gets to finish, someone cut the part front of his ship off, and he had to like dodge it real quick, or he would have lost his arm. And the ship fell, and it was Ezra, of course, in her night wheel armor, flying around. And she told the cats to grab their, owners and get out, and she got this. So, while that's going on, we get introduced to a couple of new people. We get introduced to two captains of Ajo. One is Kareem, and the other one is Bakel. And I'm probably butchering their names wrong because all their names are like Eastern names from like Egypt and like Saudi Arabia and stuff like that. Basically, that's the getup that they wear in, and their name schemes come from that part of the town. So, even the Ottoman Empire, if you look up in history, that was an empire at one moment, and it was a Muslim/Indian empire. So, yeah. So I'm probably butchering some of the names, so forgive me for that. Not trying to offend nobody, but these two captains of his comes up, and they have their own army on foot that they're invading the city with. Then after that, Fred finds out that there's a pothole, a magical hole that was plotted in his circle, and people are coming in from that. And we get to introduce to another member of the 12 that we've seen him before once in the other episode prior. Wall, the big dude, looks like half human, half frog. I guess a human body and a frog face. His name is Wall, or Sir Wall as they call him. He's one of the Spriggan 12, and they said that supposedly he probably has cancel magic. That's how he canceled, part of the wall to enter, but we have to wait and see if that's really what he has, or if that's the only thing he has. These Spriggans are OP, and most of them know more than one magic, even though they specialize in one specific magic, but they have others as well. So, and where he's going in with his crew, Riley says something to the Master Makaraj, and he tells them that there's another aircraft carrier army coming from the east. Then there's another one coming from the south, and from the north, not the north, I believe it was north. There we got attacked by the north from Ajo. Then the east and the south, east and the west, are coming by more ships. And the south is coming from a group of, I think, 900,000 or 500,000. And each of these groups have members of the Spriggan 12 in them, so. And Master Makaraj and, the first master are super shocked, and they were like, we have no chance with all these people coming to attack us. And, everyone is, super, shocked and freaked out. You even have Wally saying all this while crying, because he knows what's about to go down. But, Fairytail, of course, won't give up. And, after all this happened, we also have this one weird scene that happened is hilarious. That Lucy is preparing to leave her house finally to join up with her friends and participate. But she noticed something going on in her bathroom, like someone's using the shower. So she hears and she goes in there to see what's going on, and another Spriggan 12 is in her shower, in the bath, using her bathtub, and it's Brandish. And Brandish was like, "Oh, you left an impression on me last time I saw you, so I just thought I'd come back to see you again." And Lucy's getting freaked out because she knows how powerful Brandish is. So, and that was the end of the episode, but it was a really good episode, episode 14/291 of the final season of Fairytail. It was very intriguing. A lot of new characters popped up and some old ones as well. And I'm happy that we got 3 of the Spriggan 12 so far here. But there's the other 3 are spread out in the other directions coming, so. And we have no idea where Zeref is coming yet from, so. Gotta keep that in mind. Zeref is the master of the Emperor, the Emperor/master of all the guilds from the Empire. Our Empire, so. When he shows up, he's gonna show up fancy. With probably a really good army. I won't doubt it, his army is probably well-trained demons or high-level soldiers with magic that can compete. Knowing Zeref, and knowing how Maris is, she better step up her game or they're gonna really get destroyed. But good episode. There was a couple of changes, like I said earlier. with the Wendy and Ezra being in a bathhouse instead of being in their own personal room. Another big change was when Rivers was flying around, they showed Gajo in bed, laying down with no clothes, but of course he has a blanket on. But the difference between here and in the manga, when she flew past by his window, he wasn't alone. They showed somebody else, but we didn't get to see who it was. But we did get to see who it was thanks to the boat strike, and it was Livy. But in the manga, they changed it, and they have Livy sleeping by herself somewhere else, and Gajo by himself. They still kept the Panther Lily outside waiting in a box. They kept that scene, but they took out that dialogue and they switched that up a little bit, you know. I guess they have no problem putting the Wendy and Ezra scene, but they have a problem with putting the Gajo and Livy scene, so it's kind of weird, but I guess for censorship reasons, because these guys are young, so even though they're not really young, but they just look young, because it's a 17-year time skip, but frozen, but it is what it is. But again, this was a great episode. I enjoyed it a lot. I know a lot of people who hate Fairytail are gonna bash on it and find something to bash on, but so far it started off good, and the animation and visuals are good. Everything is good. And oh, one thing I almost forgot to mention before I end this video: we got a new opening and ending. I was not expecting that. I was expecting around episode 15 or 16 maybe to get a new opening or ending, but we actually got one pretty early, and I have to admit I actually like it. I like the old one a lot as well because it was like a happy dance pop type of thing, but this one is also kind of like that, so I don't mind. But I like this one's ending better than the other half, so there's nothing wrong with the other one either. That's the one thing about Fairytail has. They have great anime openings and endings and great battle music. You can say what you want, but they do have things that they're good at than other animes. So, but yeah, that's all I have for you guys today. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Hit that notification bell for more. Follow me on Twitter. My link will be down below in the description. And tell me what you thought of this episode, and what you liked it, and what you anticipated, and what you were looking for next episode. And don't forget to share with your family and friends, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.